Our next guest has seen a lot more than all of us in this room could imagine. And as a veteran of the Department of Corrections, he has seen firsthand the transformation that proceeds from inmates having been exposed to this message of Timothy's gift. It's now my honor to introduce to you Mr. Randy Tifft.
Good evening. First, I want to thank everybody for inviting me. And he did say Department of Corrections, and I want to clarify. You can tell from my accent, I'm not from New York City. I am from Florida. And Ron told me, he said, make sure whatever you do, hold it to 7 minutes. Don't bore him much longer than that. So I've asked my beautiful wife back there to make sure she raised her hands at 7 minutes. May run a little long because her watch still says 3 o'clock. It quit working yesterday. I do appreciate being here tonight. We've heard a little bit about what impact this has on an inmate population. And it does. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But first off, I want to talk about the impact it had on me and the impact that I seen in staff. When Ron first called me about this program, it was something we have never done in the Florida Department of Corrections. It was stepping out there. And after talking with Ron, and everybody in here I'm sure knows him, he can convince you that whatever he's thinking is a good idea. And I said, we're going to try it, Ron, and I want to be there when it happens. So when he did, the first event that I was able to attend was at one of the facilities that I supervised. And I was standing there in that room as every inmate came in. And as been said earlier tonight, they've got this hardened look because they are. They put up a persona while they're in there. There's a code that they live by, and you can't let anyone see weakness. Because if you do, it's preyed upon. But I stood there as the program started, and after every song, I seen a change. I seen a change in the emotion. I seen a change on their face, and I felt a change in my heart. And there was no doubt in my mind that the Lord was there speaking that day to me, to every staff member in that room, to every inmate. Every eye was glued, every ear was tuned. What I realized that day is that I didn't realize the opportunities I had in my life. I didn't realize that I had a mother and a father that loved me. I had a father that would put his belt across my butt when I needed it. I had a mother who told me every night that I love you, but when I went to bed. And I had a mother and father that corrected me constantly. And believe me, I needed it. But I took that for granted. As I looked around the room and knowing a lot of the men that were in that room, they didn't have the opportunities I had. They didn't have someone to tell them that's wrong. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize about prison is that there's a lot of people in there that are there because it's their rite of passage. That's their mindset. My mother's in prison. My dad's in prison. My brother's in prison. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is who I am. Because nobody's ever told them they loved them. Nobody's ever told them that they have worth. Many of them done it because they thought that was their rite of passage. And they'll tell you that. And then there's a lot of people in prison that just went down the wrong road. They fell away from the Lord. They did things that they got caught for. Many of them done things that most of us in this room have done. mistakes we've made, and it turned out better than it did for them. They're looking for somebody to tell them that they do love them and that they do care, just like all of us. Just because they're in prison doesn't mean that they don't have that worth, that they're not an individual. We know the Bible tells us that God loves each and every one of us no matter what, and all we have to do is ask Him to forgive us, forgive you. I see that happening with Timothy's gift. I see that when they attend these programs and they look into the eyes of the people that are up there performing, because I've seen it in all of their eyes myself, that somebody does care about them. And it does change. What I also seen is that it changed the culture of an agency everywhere it went. Every new prison that Timothy's gift went to, I seen the culture of that facility change, not only in the inmates, but in the staff. Everybody that attends one of these programs is touched in one way or another. I assure you that. I've seen staff members that were against it. One particular staff member, he didn't like it. He didn't think we should be providing this to inmates. He was against it. I seen him at the second time that Timothy's gift came. And I asked him, I said, "Are you going to be here today?" He said, "No, I'm getting moved." And I said, "No, you're not. You're going to stay here. You're going to watch. You're going to help the other staff in here." After 3 events of Timothy Gift, he walked up to the warden's office. He knocked on the door and he said, "Warden, can I talk to you?" He said, "Yeah, come on in." He said, "I want to apologize to you." He said, "For what?" He said, "I'm an idiot." He said, "And I apologize." He said, "I want you to call the regional director and I want you to tell him that I'm sorry." He said, "No, I'm not going to call him. We'll call him together." And he did. That young man, I seen him a week later after he called me and told me he was an idiot. And I thanked him for being an idiot. Because this world needs naysayers. That's what makes us all good. It makes us better. I saw him at the prison and he said, "Mr. Tifft, I want you to know I got baptized last weekend. I've been saved. And Timothy's gift saved me." That's the impact that Timothy's gift has. I can tell you that it's expensive for Timothy's gift to function. So if you had in your hearts today to give to something that you think will make a difference in somebody's life, this is the way to do it. I appreciate all of you. Ron, I love you. Thank you for all being here and appreciate you letting me speak. Thank you.